occasionally we do supplement with what I call food enhancement. If you're not getting all the micronutrients, I try to use things that are as close, that your body's going to see as close to food as possible, because it's really challenging to supplement in the exact same ratios that the body needs to be able to use it and produce what it's supposed to produce out of it, and then think like it's got to go through the digestion process. And if you're already having issues with your digestion, like that's another issue, right? So I just we know that our body is overwhelmed and that stress is turning toxic when we can look at the last month and recognize that we took pain relievers more than like once. We had to use anything to improve our digestion, from heartburn, any sort of bowel elimination issues that had to be rectified with some sort of supplement. If you have sleeping issues, occasionally supplementing with melatonin, no problem. But if you have to take something to sleep every night, and then you're still waking up in the middle of the night and having a hard time going back to sleep, that is clearly a sign that something is not functioning properly.
Yeah, so, especially stress. And I had mentioned that if we should talk briefly about sleep, that women going through menopause, it's like 60% have sleep issues. So what happens, and something that happened to me is my cortisol levels would go up because I would be stressed out about something. And what's supposed to happen is your cortisol, again, that hormone of fight and flight and stress, is supposed to dip. And if, so that's super important. If you're listening and you're having trouble sleeping, to get your cortisol level to go down by taking not having a glass of wine. That's what I think I have to say. 90% of the women who come to me are like using alcohol to try to relax. And that totally backfires. That's something we should mention as well. If you are using recreational drugs, I mean, marijuana is illegal in lots of places and it does have some medicinal value, but if you're needing to turn to substances to relax, that's another sign that, you're under a lot of stress and you need to find a way to bring your body back into equilibrium.
Yeah. And when you suppress symptoms regularly and repeatedly, the way I describe it to patients is that we're driving the problem further into the body, because the whatever we're using to suppress the symptom, and I don't care whether it's medication or natural, the medication obviously has more toxic side effects. Medications are chemicals. They include additional components that are not just herbal. Like every medication is based on some herbal component, but in order to construct it in a way that they think makes it more powerful and also makes it patentable, they add all this other stuff that they piggyback on it. And so when you use something to suppress those symptoms, you will potentially have a side effect. Like I have a patient who deals with eczema and on her hand, and it's a real struggle because it'll flare up, and I counseled her to watch when it flares up and see like what stressor caused it to flare, right?